When I was just a little lad, or so me mother told me, away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. That if I didn't kiss the girls, me lips would grow a moldy. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away,
Ho!
haul away, we'll haul away together. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away,
Ho!
haul away, we'll haul for better weather. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
Time hours for his credentialing in as a 100-ton master, and spent last year on a motor vessel, 100-foot motor vessel, and now he's gone to 212 years earlier design. Then we have our 2-for-1. This is our Landon and Liam Trump. They're from PA. We picked up Landon in this winter. He came aboard, and then we soon, just after we left, we brought Liam aboard, and so we're happy to have them. And then we have from Exeter, New Hampshire, our resident author, Caleb, who is filling in and getting some, he's writing maritime books and he's getting some maritime experience. So if you have anything to ask, it's really, your questions are directed to the mate, and the mate will delegate to the crew who does what.
You guys want to join me up here? Another one on that side where Caleb is. If you guys, if a couple of you want to go over to Caleb and help him out, you can go this way or that way. No, you're all right. All right. And in this bag, we will find our split course. So if you guys can help me get this out of the bag, it's a little bit big and heavy. You want to grab on here and just lift up. There we go. So there's a couple different corners. This is also kind of a square sail because it hangs from our square sail. And so what's going to happen is we're going to have 2 corners up at the top and 2 corners down at the bottom. So this corner is our tack. I can identify that because it's got our tack line here. So that's going to be the inboard corner here. And then it's got these little pulley things here, these little clasps. We call these hanks. And we're going to hank those on to the stay here. So you guys can help me do that. Basically just lift it up, pull the pin, kind of got to twist it to open it. Just latch it on, and then you follow this line, and you'll find those hanks. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I thought you guys rolled it up to where we could just flip it.
It's a caterpillar.
It looks like it's. I don't know too much about it. Besides it should be. So this is. I don't have full.
No, I mean that's the right. Okay, this never mind. This is the first thing I had opened up. But,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, some of them are tricky. Got to pull kind of hard.
what's your name?
All right, so we have 2. This stay here.
Is it okay if I come up here?
Yes, yeah.
Pull the clip down,
This
around,
way?
and then you just trace up to the next one to make sure they're not inverted or anything. Same thing for next. So we have all of those.
All right, nice job, guys.
Just want to kind of flight these a little bit as we come up. Really.
The colors are great though.
All right, nicely done. So now we have our inboard head of the sail, and then there's an outboard head. And so the way this works is attached to the top of this line, there's a couple of blocks. And so these lines are the halyards for those. And so basically what a halyard is, if you guys hear us refer to a halyard on a ship, it's a line that hauls the sail up. All right, and so as you're hauling on a halyard, it's going to raise the sail. And so these are 2 halyards, and on the other side, on the same pin, on this fife rail here, there's 2 more. And so they kind of operate opposite sides. So one's an outboard halyard for the starboard split course, one's an inboard halyard, and then one's outboard and inboard for the port as well. So we'll just cast those. You guys can cast that off and then just hold on to them.
I need to borrow your inner halyard. The inner halyard. I believe. We need to pick it up. Okay, let's pick up on this one. Bring the outers down. Harrison. What's up? You want to suit up? Yeah. Make sure you're not trapping anything. That slack in the reef gear.
Oh, that's why we were.
Well, I mentioned it last time. Apparently there for a reason. I have to admit, I did say something about it before it happened. I knew it was. It's gonna go attached. Alright. I should take a scout with it. Definitely not yet. We'll do that later in the day. You guys know how to tie a buntline hitch? Yeah. So, we'll bring this guy through. And then it's kind of like a clove hitch. A little bit, but not really. So we'll wrap around. And then wrap around through the hole. And then tuck under itself.
Wild.
And then get a little tail and pull it tight. Am I good to go up aloft? Yeah. Yeah. Do you care what side? We don't really have a windward side right now. Yeah, no.
I will, yes.
So, went aloft before. Went aloft before.
actually, somebody
Alright, if you could hold on to that for us so it doesn't go
Not cross twisted. About
So that.
Yep. Yeah, that. Forward. Good. Awesome. Alright. We're all set up.
Alright. We're gonna wait till we.
Let's go ahead and get the foretop prep.
Alright, prep the foretop.
Really pop the tails out over here.
Alright. Nick Jackson, you said? Yeah. Alright, cool. So we can just kind of leave this right there. Should hold for us. So for the foretopsail, that big square sail up there, there's a couple of lines that are tying it up. Harrison is up there untying a couple of gaskets that actually hold it in place once we have it furled up. But there's a couple of lines that hold it hanging up there, and those are referred to as its gear. And they come all the way down to here. And these are the clew and then the Bunsen leeches. And so these are just, these three lines collectively are referred to as topsail gear. And so we can take these off the pin and then marry these all together. So you can take that off. Alright. And then these get married on one pin to the next and then to the next. The reason we do that is because now this is ready to cast. So like I was saying, these lines are tying it up. So when we go to actually set the sail, we want these to run free. And so the command that you'll hear is cast gear sheet home. So when you haul on a sheet, it's gonna pull against the gear here, specifically the clew, this one here. The clew and the sheet are connected at the same bottom corner of the sail that draws it down and up again. And so we want the clew to run free, and we'll toggle it off because this is literally just going to be cast completely free to run out as we haul on the sheet, which is this right here. So as we're hauling on this, we want our gear to be cast so that we can get this home. All right. And then these,
Stand by set 4.
stand by to set the 4. These can get coiled as well so that they'll pay out, but right now we are standing by to set 4.
I guess let's get the 4 prepped.
Prep out the 4. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing with these here. If you can give me a hand.
You want to bring a couple hands?
So these are all going to get married. And I'll hold your tension here.
It's the guys
So
for the
just
staff on both
Yep,
sides,
yeah,
right?
you can take those off. This one will come through as well.
The final thing you do with the work coil,
Right, you need to
And so all
get
of these.
this
Alright,
set
yep.
up.
This one and this one. I'll grab this one.
Before you coil it, that's married. Right?
Oh, marry them all. Alright. And then these get married, put together.
Help us with this.
Alright, and once again, we do this so that the sail could pay out. These lines, if you see where they go up to blocks which connect to the edge of the sail. So as we let these out, the sail's going to open up, and then we haul away on the clew out haul there, that black line, which is going to suck it down into place.
very important when you go down.
So when we get these to go out, run out freely, we want them to pay out freely, and the way we'll do that is we'll coil and capsize each one of these individually. Have you coiled line before?
Yeah.
A little bit. Do you remember which direction we coil line? I'll give you a hint. Is it clockwise or counterclockwise? It is clockwise, yeah. So if you imagine a face of a clock here on the deck, you have 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. The hands are rotating this way, so that's the way that you coil. Just imagine your clock face there, and then you take your line, and you just go in the direction that the clock is turning, hand over hand passing the line to itself. And then once you have it
It only coils one way.
in the
Go
circle,
the wrong way.
all of the line here. This one's a little bit longer than I thought. Then you do what's called capsizing. So you take it and you flip it over. That way the working end is on top and the bitter end is on bottom. Otherwise, it's going to take from the bottom of the coil and kind of just take it all up with it. So you want it to pay out freely, so you make sure that that will pay out. And then all of these can get coiled on deck here.
Alright. So, 16 from the neck.
Yeah.
as able, we can go ahead and cast the tack as well.
As able, cast attack, alright?
Like a mini transit up here last night, but no, I didn't do the transit for Georgia. My brother did though. He's the other guy that was it's a train.
Here we go.
4x4? I'm not sure. Like I said, I wasn't here for it. No, I mean like from here. We actually just did split horses and board top. No, 4x4 is.
For watch.
What's that? Yeah. Oh,
We didn't do watches.
everybody on deck.
Oh,
Yeah.
everything wrapped around. Yeah, kind of tied up
It's
there.
a nice leisurely.
I didn't know. I saw you guys had at least the four top up. So
Yeah, we just have 4 tops, 1 horses.
And perfect.
it's not going to be much different.
And then just 2 more.
A little rusty. It's
You want to grab that one there?
DDW, pretty much beam rage around Cape Ann and then
Oh yeah.
head down wind. In quotation marks.
It's going to be pretty close to it.
There won't be much of this hopefully, but this is double the forecast, so.
And this will allow those lines to pay out
Is everybody
freely
else
as they
ready?
need.
Port tack cast.
For attack cast, stand by.
So wait a minute. Four top is not this one. Not that. Well, this is our gear for the four top. Yeah. And then our halyard is this.
Ready on brails.
Are we oversetting it
So
now?
Caleb and Nikki, you guys will do brails. You guys can just be on opposite sides. So we're just gonna bring these down to the last turn, and then when I say cast brails, we'll just let go of them and make sure they run free.
Did you mean me or Caleb?
Or you, Liam.
Okay.
Alright, tack is
So
cast.
what it means is we're gonna take these all the way down to the last half turn there,
Do we
or the
wanna-
last turn. So it'll be like.
Ready brails?
Ready the rails.
Tack is cast.
Tack is gas.
Set
the force, cast the brails.
hauling away.
One big puller.
2, 6. Alright, and then take your slack to the boom, so put it on the boom. And then
Use your palms.
turns. Turns. Alright, nice job.
Tack down is able.
Tack down is able. Alright, that's it. Yeah. Come back down. Oh man. Good stuff. It's been a long time. Yeah. What were you on for? 17 and 18. Oh, okay.
Please do the lead bank.
Do I go over the split horse line?
I don't think so. No, Liam, you'd want it under.
Okay. Oh, it's all around the
Yeah,
top?
it's all
That's fun. Teeth shattering. Hold up.
That's well the sheet.
Repeat.
That's well the sheet.
That's well the sheet.
That's not you.
Oh, okay.
Keep it crank.
Tacking down the floor. That's well the tack.
Set?
Yeah, you guys coil these back up when you're done with them? Yeah. Coil them.
Somebody's had the four top. It's this one here, right? Yeah, that's the take it all the way off the pin. And what we're going to be doing is basically pulling on this as fast as we possibly can until we get to the point where it's tough to haul because it's going to come really fast. We're going to as much as we can.
I need 2 more on the other side.
And then we're going to, once we get to that point, then we're going to sort of put all of our hands on it and just pull as hard as we can. And I'll bring it to the pin and then we'll sweat it and I'll explain that process later. Alright, so actually, how about we have, are you pretty fast?
Yeah.
You could start, so when we hear Casper Shimo, you're going to pull as much as you can, just one person makes it easier to go fast. Then once he gets to that point, you and I will grab on and just as much as we can, we're going to pull. And then we're going to need somebody on our gear. You guys. And so how about you pass it, right here, and then when we get after this home, just going to take all these lines off and let them fly.
It's been a while, but I don't forget that.
Don't have to worry about that. We might get a little hockey up, but
One down, all down.
the cast view is only going to do the cast view part with the sheet part. Does that make sense? All right, very good. Ready the starboard gear and sheet.
Ready, starboard gear and sheet. Ready, port gear and sheet. Alright, cast gear, sheet home.
Cast gear, sheet home. So you guys cast the gear. So hang on, wait for the guys to take that all the way off. Take it off, let it go, and then pull. All the way off. There you go. And let it go. Completely let it go. There you go. Yes, that's good.
Alright, make port, sweat, starboard.
Make port, sweat, starboard. All right, so here, hold your hands on that. Keep your hands on there. All right, now stop holding for 1 second. I'm gonna put it to this pin here, and I want you guys to put your arms straight out, right where they are, at about eye level. Put both arms on there, and then you're going to be putting all of your body weight forward into it, and basically dash the line as far forward as you can. Then bring the line all the way as back as you can, and then pull it straight down into the pin. Okay? You ready? Let's practice. So forward, back, and then to the pin. 4! And then bring your arms up. Back up to eye level. Forward, back, to the pin. 4! Forward, back, to the pin. Oh, let's try again.
Move is down.
Yeah, so forward,
back, down.
to the pin.
Yeah.
1!
Forward, back, down.
Ha! All right, hang on. Let's synchronize. Ready? Forward.
And make sure the
Back.
last motion is
To
down.
the pin.
Yeah.
Ha! Back. To the pin.
Nice.
1! Forward. Back. To the pin. 2! Put all of your body weight into it. Forward. Back. To the pin. 1! Forward. Back. To the pin. 1! Forward. Back. To the pin. Nothing! Forward. Back. To the pin. Nothing! That's well. All right, so hold your hands on there. And just wait till I say turn. Turn. All right, now you can let go. Very well done, guys. Now they're gonna sweat on that side, so you guys can try and go give them a hand if you want to
Idle
sweat
hand
that
support
side.
braces.
Idle hand support braces. Actually, you know what? You guys can
6.
follow me.
2, 6.
Alright, that's well, make fast.
That's well, make fast.
As able to halyard.
As able to halyard.
Got turns.
All right, if you can go over where Harrison is and help him out falling on that line. All right.
Right down to the pin. Alright. Reach as high as you can, or as low as you can. Fall to the pin. To the pin. Pull to my feet. Land here. Land here. Yep. Use your body weight. Come to me. Land here. Gather around, gather around. Just pull straight to my feet. Pull to my feet. Pull to my feet.
Land magnet takes quite a bit.
Yep. Reach high, pull low. Reach high, pull low. Come on. Use the body weight. Hold there, hold.
All right, so hold that there.
You can let go of that line.
Stand by braces.
Force that all. That are messy on that, and coiling them up, hanging them, or giving them a valentine. to kind of tidy up the deck. So these ones can use it here. I think there might still be some up forward, and I'll kind of show you guys what we're doing. So this line here is pretty long. This is our halyard. A couple of you guys are hauling away on our halyard here. So this is raising the top yard of square, so those two horizontal beams, the top yard is that top one, raising it up to stretch the sail into position. And so because it is a halyard, on all of the halyards for all of our sails, we do what's called a ballantine. So basically, it gets coiled twice. Once in a working coil and then once in a fancy coil, so that it will pay out super neat and tidily as we need it to. So the working coil is just what we were saying before. So you go clockwise when you're coiling a line. Imagine your clock face on the deck. So 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Coil the direction the hands are turning. Just like this, hand over hand, passing the line to itself. So if one of you guys wants to take over, and if you guys can help kind of feed the line to her here, so that it's a little less tricky. And that's a working coil. The reason we call it that is because it's the first step. So we work from the working end, which is this end here, towards the bitter end, which is the end of the knot. Yep. And so with the ballantine, you have to start with the bitter end and work towards the working end. That way it will pay out freely, the working one, as it needs to be let out, essentially. Nicely done. There's a couple of lines there as well. Those can get coiled. And here I'll help you determine which pins they go to first. So this one goes right here. Get married together on this one here. Nice. So instead of flipping these, what we'll do actually is, basically it's called coiling and hanging. So take your coil, lift it up, and what you want is to reach through. So if you have it facing this way, you can reach through and grab right here and then pull that through and hang it on the turn. Yeah, there you go. Alright. Now that we've got our working coil over here, we've got our bitter end on top. But what's going to happen if we needed to ease that right now? What would happen to our coil? Yeah, it would kind of turn it over, right? Because this is where it would be paying out from, and that's at the bottom. So it would kind of take the whole coil and just go up with it. So that's not going to help us ease it out like we need it to, but it does get us to the bitter end. So this will start our next coil. This is called a ballantine, and it's basically just a fancy pattern. Have you guys heard of ballantines before? Nice. All right, so you start your base with 2 circles, 2 big circles. And then essentially, you're doing 3 small circles inside of the big circle. So there's your first one, there's your second one, and there's your third. And what you're looking for is this kind of triangle pattern. So you'll have a triangle in the middle, kind of one on top there, one here, and one there as well. And then you'll just keep going with those 3 circles, lining it out on top of itself.
Hands to braces, starboard halt.
Hands to braces, starboard halt. And that's going to allow it to pay out from the top. Want to give that a try?
Okay, hands to braces, starboard halt.
Hands to braces, starboard halt. All right, if I could grab a hand over here.
Yeah.
All right, right here. We're basically sit down. Ready, starboard? Ready, starboard. All right, click on halt. Click on halt. And start pulling.
Hold course.
Oh, of course.
Did you get a Valentine?
Are we looking up right?
Look at well, and you can set the starboard split.
Starboard split. All right, slack out, starboard, and make fast.
Slack out, starboard, make fast. All right, so bring those lines to the pins, and I'll make them out for us. And just kind of hold it the slack out. There we go.
And then we'll stand by for this starboard split course.
All right. Thank you. Got turns. Good.
Stand by for the starboard split course, so we'll get
This is the inboard halyard. So this is gonna haul the
starboard outer
all the way up. So if you guys want to get your hand on there and just listen
So
up
what this is
for
going to do this is going to lift the outer side of it, which is why we call it the outer halyard. The inner halyard is the one that's going to lift inside. So it's a big rectangle. We're basically lifting this corner. They're going to lift that corner from the other side, and we're going to work together to haul this straight up.
your inner halyard. Hallway?
halyard, haul away. There we go. You guys can see your halyard take up.
Take up. So take up is
As you're hauling, it's raising going up, but not.
Yeah.
Take up a little better outer.
Coordination.
Nice job, guys. Work together.
Yeah, it's better. So reach up high.
Hold the inner.
Hold the inner. So that's you guys. Hold right there. Nicely done. All right.
And then let's get that inner home.
All right. So you can keep hauling.
All right, give a
Kind
couple
of
the outer?
Yep. Hold the outer. Hold.
kind of
So hold me and just stop right there. Sorry, I said that.
There it is.
All right. And then you can bring that to me, and I'll make that off and get in there. Nice job, guys.
Your sheet
All
fouled
right.
there.
You got turns.
Yeah, let's get that sheet unfelled.
Sheets in. Got turns on the inner.
Turns on the inner.
That's nice and tight.
Alright, hallway the outer.
Hallway outer. That's you guys. Reach high, pull low. Reach high, pull low.
And add as well. Make
That's well.
fast.
So hold that right there, and I'm gonna
Bring it
over
to
the
him.
pin.
Bring it to him.
Right over the pin. Yep.
There you
and
go.
just hold it right there.
That one gets forward lead. Take up a little bit the sheet.
All right, and you guys can let go turns. Very good. Well done. Did you guys learn how to coil by hand?
That's well the
yet?
sheet.
So what I'm doing right here, did you learn this? Yeah. No, so basically what we're doing is we're just rolling the line clockwise.
You want to make sure that
Yep, and just make sure that you're always going clockwise, and then we actually, you know, we should probably do this on deck, but it's the same exact thing. We're just
yep. And then you just go around like that.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And then I'll show you what we do with
Prevent the four hard
you guys
out.
wants to finish coiling that. Try and make each coil around the same size. Make it look a lot nicer and make it work a lot better when we're ready to ease.
And make sure people don't trip.
Yeah.
Right, that's well. Slack out the sheet. All fast. Now that we set the floor, it's almost time
Nick, I guess you can set the port split, and then once it's up, we'll probably douse the bore.
Yeah. Okay.
Good call.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
All right, now I will take the peak. Thank you. And then next I will take the ropes. Thank you very much.
For many, many years, and it's kind of the way that we do things on wooden tall ships. So we like to keep that tradition alive. And so the shanty that we're gonna sing is called Haul Away Joe. If you guys have ever heard of it, it's kind of a more popular one. And so you guys are basically just gonna sing back the refrain, and then I'll kind of lead us through some verses. And really, it's kind of easy to catch on, so you guys can just jump in whenever you catch on. But I'll explain it first here. So what you guys are going to be singing is away, haul away, we'll haul away together. Away, haul away, Joe. And then when you say Joe, that's when you would haul. So really put your effort into that word Joe. You can scream it if you want to. And then you'll say away, we'll haul for better weather. Away, haul away, Joe. All right? And then we'll kind of work together to just get this shanty going. All right. So I'm gonna start us out, and then Liam here, he's gonna help lead you guys. So whenever Liam's jumping in, you guys just follow what he's saying. All right. When I was just a little lad, or so me mother told me, away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. That if I didn't kiss the girls, me lips would grow a moldy. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away,
Ho!
haul away, we'll haul away together. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away,
Ho!
haul away, we'll haul for better weather. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. I used to have an Irish girl, but she got fat and lazy. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. And now I've got a Bristol girl, she damn near drives me crazy. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away,
Ho!
haul away, we'll haul away together. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away,
Ho!
haul away, we'll haul for better weather. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Old Louis was the king of France before the revolution. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. And then he got his head chopped off and it spoiled his constitution. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away,
Ho!
haul away, we'll haul away together. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away,
Ho!
haul away, we'll haul for better weather. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. You call yourself a second mate, you can't tie a bowline. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. You can't even stand up straight when the pack of cheese are rolling. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away,
Ho!
haul away, we'll haul away together. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away,
Ho!
haul away, we'll haul for better weather. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away,
Ho!
haul away, we'll haul away together. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away,
Ho!
haul away, we'll haul for better weather. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away,
Ho!
haul away, we'll haul away together. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Alright. So as you guys can hear in that song, every time you would say haul away, Joe, that's when you would really put your effort into that haul. And we could use that as kind of a well-oiled machine to all work together to get these really heavy pieces of equipment into the air. And so that's what it was used for traditionally. Nice job helping out. Thank you guys.
Up and strike, strike the bell.
Strike the bell, second mate, let us go below. Look well to windward, you can see it's going to blow. Look at the glass, you can see that it is fell. We wish that you would hurry up and strike the bell.
Down on the main deck and working on the pumps. There's the larboard watch, they're longing for their bumps. They look out to windward and they see a great swell, and they wish that he would hurry up and strike the bell. Strike the bell, second mate, let us go below. Look well to windward, you can see it's going to blow. Look at the glass, you can see that it is fell. We wish that you would hurry up and strike the bell. Forward at the forecastle head and keeping sharp lookout. There's a Johnny standing, he's ready for to shout. The lights are burning bright, sir, and everything is well. We wish that he would hurry up and strike the bell. Strike the bell, second mate, let us go below. Look well to windward, you can see it's going to blow. Look at the glass, you can see that it is fell. We wish that you would hurry up and strike the bell. Aft at the wheelhouse, poor Anderson stands, grasping at the helm with his cold and mittened hands. Looking at the compass, though the course is clear and well, he's wishing that the second mate would just strike the bell. Strike the bell, second mate, let us go below. Look well to windward, you can see it's going to blow.
Look at the glass, you can see that it is fell. We wish that you would hurry up and strike the bell. Aft on the quarterdeck, our gallant captain stands. He's looking out to sea with spyglass in his hands. What he is a-thinking of, we know so very well. He's thinking more of striking sail than striking the bell. Oh, strike the bell, second mate, and let us go below. Look well to windward, you can see it's going to blow. Look at the glass, you can see that it is fell. We wish that you would hurry up and strike the bell. Oh, strike the bell, second mate, and let us go below. Look well to windward, you can see it's going to blow. Look at the glass, you can see that it is fell. We wish that you would hurry up and strike the bell. So that song is talking about how a ship's bell traditionally is used to signify a shift change. So they would have a crew working on deck and a crew sleeping below, and every time they would hear the bell, they would know that it's their turn to rotate. So looking at the glass, seeing it as falling, they're talking about a barometer. So they can see a storm is coming, look out to windward, you can see a great swell. They see a storm coming, they're working on deck, and they just want to go to sleep. So they're waiting for the second mate to strike the bell so that they can go below and so that the crew that's sleeping down there can come up and work through the storm.
Thank you.
Yes. No, that bell is more of just a dinner bell nowadays, but safe and sound at home again, let the waters roar, Jack. Safe and sound at home again, let the waters roar, Jack. Long we've tossed on the rolling main, now we're safe ashore, Jack. Don't forget your old shipmate, Fal-de-ral-de-ral-de-ral-de-ride-o. Since we sailed from Plymouth Sound, 4 years gone or nigh, Jack, was there ever chummies now, such as you and I, Jack? Long we've tossed on the rolling main, now we're safe ashore, Jack. Don't forget your old shipmate, Fal-de-ral-de-ral-de-ral-de-ride-o. We have worked the self-same gun, quarter-deck division, sponger, I, and loader you, through the whole commission. Long we've tossed on the rolling main, now we're safe ashore, Jack. Don't forget your old shipmate, Fal-de-ral-de-ral-de-ral-de-ride-o. But the best of friends must part, fair or foul the weather, and your flipper for a shake, now a drink together. Long we've tossed on the rolling main, now we're safe ashore, Jack. Don't forget your old shipmate, Fal-de-ral-de-ral-de-ral-de-ride-o. Long we've tossed on the rolling main, now we're safe ashore, Jack. Don't forget your old shipmate, Fal-de-ral-de-ral-de-ral-de-ride-o.
In 1812 and launched in Fells Point, Maryland, and she was captured on the Rappahannock River in 1813. She was then taken by the British to Halifax, where they put the crew in prison, and then they sailed her on to England, where they actually took her apart and drew her out. They looked at Lynx as the finest example of an American privateer, but they wanted to understand the technology of why these boats sailed so well, so fast, and were so maneuverable. The original plans, when the group got together to build this ship, the original plans that the British drew out in 1813 were found, and we used those to help draw out this deck. I didn't, the group did, to use to design this deck. We're thankful for the British because the Americans never put anything on paper. And if the British had not drawn out 3 ships, Lynx, Sultana, and there's another one that name escapes me. Those 3 ships have allowed us to enjoy most of what they were doing in 1812 era because none of it was ever put on paper. They didn't want it captured, they didn't want it destroyed. So that's the Lynx lineage. Was built in 2001, launched in 2001, and it was built from 1999 to 2001 in Rockport, Maine. She spent her first 9 years on the West Coast and has been to Hawaii 3 times, as far north as Vancouver, as far south as through the Panama Canal twice. Lynx is modeled after a War of 1812 Baltimore Clipper, and she is all wooden. There is really nothing ornamental on deck. Everything functions as part of the ship's sailing. When we voyage with 13 or 11 to 13, and when we do regular sailings, we're down to as few as 6. We have a professional cook that stays with us, and the cook's duties are to cook and keep the crew healthy, and they do not have a deck position other than in an emergency. Lynx is a Coast Guard inspected vessel, which adheres to a much higher standard than just a regular vessel. We do about 30 Coast Guard inspections a year, and that's due to the amount of geography that we travel in. For example, yesterday, before we could do any people on deck, we were Coast Guard inspected. This summer we were in Boothbay, Maine, and Gloucester and Nantucket for the most part, and then we do education programs. In every port that we go into. So we get a little breeze coming up. We'll have a nice sail. We'll do a little history outside. These guns, we actually have 4 of them. We have 2 stowed below, but these guns were cast for the ship. These guns are period correct. They are not cannons. They're called carronades. And this would be the equivalent of like a sawed-off shotgun for home defense in the world of fighting. These are very close proximity, very powerful firing guns, but they were not the weight or the lack of the weight and the lack of elevation and articulation that long guns were. So most USS Constitution carries 25, 30-pound carronades. So even they have a lot of carronades on board. These are 6-pound carronades. So they came up with these configurations of 4 and 1/2 pulling sails. These sails allow ships to go upwind, and this is nothing that the English had. They didn't understand it. So the original Lynx was captured in 1813, and she was sailed to Halifax, where the crew was put in prison, and then from there, Lynx was sailed to England, where the English took her apart and drew out, and then they understood it. By that time, it was getting a little bit too late for the War of 1812. But the War of 1812 is significant because we had actually won our independence in the Revolutionary War. And here it is 38 years later, and we're still not a sovereign country. England never recognized the United States. They were trying to recognize individual states. England wanted our states to be at war with each other. They never wanted America to be a collective agreement United States. So they kept harassing us, and they put our country under what they call blockade. The blockade was our East Coast ports, Boston, New York, the Chesapeake. And what they would do is they would take a ship of the line, and they would anchor these ships in the harbors, and those ships with their long guns would own the horizon. And these boats were still maintaining commerce with France. These boats were very good and swift of sailing, so they were nicknamed blockade runners, meaning they would take the worst weather, the darkest nights, the stormiest days, the foggiest days, and they would sail underneath the blockade and run to Bordeaux, France, where they would trade. Now in Bordeaux, 1 of 2 things would happen. They would reload with French goods, and they would run the blockade back into America with the goods up into the harbors, up into the towns, to sell the goods to the Americans. Or you would take your ship, your blockade runner, like Lynx, and you would outfit it in Bordeaux as a privateer. Now, privateer is a term for the private merchant navy. When President Madison declared war on England in 1812, he had 17 ships. He declared war against the mightiest navy in the world of 750. Madison needed some help. So what he did is he allowed private merchant ship owners to engage in privateering. They're going to use the English economy against the English might. What they did is they were selling, the government was issuing letters of marque and reprisal. You can see Lynx's original letter of marque and reprisal. It's a copy of it is down below. This letter of marque and reprisal set the course for private merchants to engage the British merchant fleet on any high sea in the world as a protected US flagged vessel. These letters of marque for the original owners of Lynx, after they built the ship, the letter of marque cost them $34,000 in 1812 dollars. This letter of marque would be used as they would engage the British fleet. What they would do is if they rigged up as a privateer, they would go right into the English Channel and they'd start raiding in the English Channel. They're taking British commerce right in the English Channel. They would take their letter of marque and the cargo, they'd go into France and they'd adjudicate it in an Admiralty Court of Law and be awarded the money. Now that they've spent the $34,000 on their letter of marque, the goods that they sell, the ships were allowed to keep 90% of the dollars. And the dollars would go to the ship owners, to the captain, to the mate, to the deckhands, all the way down to the powder monkeys. They trickled this money throughout. It was very smart because these voyages were short and they were very profitable. Unlike whaling. Whaling voyages were very long, and if you're awash ashore in Nantucket and you've gone whaling, you come back after a 3 to 5 year voyage and you cannot even pay back the ship's store for the clothes you bought 3 years ago. So now they got you for the next voyage. Privateering was looked at as a way for parents to rent their kids out and make money. You have to know that America was primarily an agricultural land. They were trying to feed the families. If the British fed you the night before, you might be sympathetic to the British cause. But if you're a true patriot in Boston, in Concord, Lexington, if you're a patriot and you're bent on your independence, you're gonna be fighting for the American cause. So parents would rent their young kids out to privateers to make the only money that the house might bring in. So these boats would go up in the English Channel and they would raid. There's one boat that was responsible for $4.5 million of British commerce off the high seas. And this ship is called the Prince de Neufchâtel. The Châtel was about a third larger than Lynx, and she was manned by 170 men and boys. A lot of privateers were captained by young Navy lieutenants because it was the only command that they would get. The Navy lieutenants would get a privateer and they'd outfit him with young men and boys. Once you're in France and you've outfitted your ship with the guns, the munitions, and the extra crew that you need to privateer, you go into the English Channel, you raid as much as you can, you take the cargo. You go into France, you sell it. But once the heat gets on in England, when the frigates start coming out. Now a frigate is the same size as USS Constitution. Constitution, there were 6 ships of the same design. They took the best designs of the French and they took the best designs of the English ships. They combined all the good technology and built our frigates, Constitution and on. This morning when you woke up, Constitution in our active naval commissioned fleet today is the only naval vessel that put an enemy combatant on the bottom today. That could change tonight. The decommissioned vessels of World War II and everything, they're all decommissioned. Constitution is still commissioned. In the War of 1812, Constitution sailed with 3 Nantucket whaleboats on her deck. Nobody was ever killed while they were serving on the USS Constitution. She was literally called Old Ironsides because they did see the balls bouncing off of the hull of the live oak that she was made out of. She was an incredibly strong and robust vessel. It was said by the British Royal Navy that Constitution, because she started winning so many sea battles, that Constitution does not get engaged with but a minimum of 2 British frigates. She was so well sailed and she was so good at fighting that orders were only a minimum of 2 British frigates engage her. Constitution finds herself coming out of Boston, and way offshore, the billowing sails of the HMS Tendos and the HMS Endymion, both frigates, see Constitution. Constitution's in very light air. There were times that Constitution, in a 4-day chase, outran 7 British frigates. She was in the lead, and all the frigates are behind. It was 2 days into the chase that they realized that Constitution was being rotowed by her crew in the Nantucket whaleboats. Wow. So they shipped their boats over and started towing their own vessels. This is the same thing that the British fleet was doing with English convoy. They're escorting British merchant ships across the Atlantic. And what they would do is they would take the bigger naval ships, they'd go all the way to the back of the line, they'd sail tow all the slow merchant ships forward, drop them off, sail back and grab the small ones. Meanwhile, the privateers are picking at them like the lions at the antelope. England was also fighting Napoleon. So they're running short on assets in spite of having 750 commissioned naval ships. Constitution's coming up. Tendos and Endymion are now going to engage her. But Constitution has the advantage of 2 pilots on board that were Marblehead pilots. These pilots took right over here in these very convoluted waters off of there, and they piloted her into Marblehead Harbor underneath the safety of Fort Sewell with her long guns. There was no ship that would engage anyone that had long guns. You just had to be out of range, you were fine. But Tendos and Endymion, recognizing Fort Sewell was there, they bared away and Constitution sailed for another day. Constitution knew which battles to run from and which ones to engage. She was very well sailed and she was very well fought. 6 months later, we find the same HMS Endymion has now come off her blockade post in New York Harbor. Endymion is going to Halifax to reprovision. She has got 550 men aboard. The Prince of Neuchâtel is the #1 privateer that they want to get off the high seas. The Châtel alone is responsible for taking $4.5 million of British commerce off of the high seas, and she is #1. Prince of Neuchâtel has come up south of the Vineyard, south of Nantucket, and she's inside the dangerous Nantucket shoals. She's a privateer like this, so she doesn't draw the 18 feet of depth that the others do, that a British frigate would. Julius Ordino is the captain of the privateer, and he's a fierce, fierce fighter. He stands about this tall, and his stature does not regard him to be honored by a command. But he's an incredibly good sailor. He's a very fierce fighter, and he has told his men he will never be taken alive by the British because he will be a dead man. The crew know that Ordino is serious about this. Ordino never used a swear word running his crew. Ordino could outwork his mates and his chief and second mate. Ordino, nicknamed the Sea Wolf, was a real fierce fighter. Stands the men down, everybody hydrates, they eat. Stands the men down, and all of a sudden at 8 o'clock at night, he hears the sound of a grapple. Ordino knows the men are here, the British are here. And pay attention, I'm not going to read the whole book, but I will. On October 11th, 1814, the hardest fought naval engagement of the entire war took place off of Nantucket between the privateer Prince of Neuchâtel and 5 barges from the British frigate Endymion. When the British boarders succeeded in gaining the forecastle of the privateer, her captain swept them overboard with a hail of canister shot and bags of musket balls fired across the main deck from one of her main guns. Again, the British regulars suffered a loss of 100 or more to the American privateers, 9 killed and 19 wounded. You're telling me that the hardest fought naval engagement in the entire war happened on Nantucket and 105 British were killed? It's the hardest fought naval engagement because so many men were killed. the British lost 105 Royal Marine trained fighters to 36 merchant sailors. Ordno, after they gain the forecastle, he takes a swivel, spins it around and fires across there, blows them away. He kills 15 of them right then with grape shot. Ordno needs more information. So there's this guy down in the Chesapeake Bay, and he's standing there at the Battle of Fort McHenry, and he's peering through a gun port. This guy's name is Francis Scott Key, and Francis Scott Key is in the Chesapeake on the commanding British vessel's ship for one reason. He's there to negotiate the release of a doctor. Now, Nantucket's own Abaya Folger was born on Nantucket. Her son is doing the same thing, but he's doing it over in France, trying to negotiate the release, man for British sailor. See, when Madison declared war, he was declaring war against England for 3 reasons. British sailor impressment of American sailors, dual taxation without representation, and there was no free trade in sailors' rights. We know the dual taxation without representation because we all know what the Boston Tea Party was, right? You pay for your tea in England, your duty there, you bring it to America, and they want duty again, dual taxation. Oh, by the way, both of those ships in the Boston Tea Party were Nantucket ships. This lady, Abaya Folger from Nantucket, her son that's doing the negotiations, his name is Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin is unsuccessful in obtaining any release of American sailors. Francis Scott Key, in his famous poem that turned into our national anthem, has a thing that says, "And the rocket's red glare and the bombs burst in air." Well, the rocket's red glare and the bombs burst in air are what we call fireworks. They didn't blow anything up, they didn't burn anything, they didn't do anything. They create light, smoke, and intimidate. Well, Ordno, after they gain the forecastle, he sends up a rocket because he needs to know, what am I up against? So the rocket goes off, gives him the illumination he needs, and he is stunned. Ordno has now got 5 British barges with 25 men apiece on the barge. There are 150 trained Royal Marine fighters tied alongside his privateer, and they're ready to go. He's got 38 prisoners down below. He's got 36 men on deck. Ordno sees that he's so outnumbered that his men are in retreat. Ordno knows if he's taken, he's a dead man. So Ordno takes a lit torch, stands over the powder magazine, and says, "If you don't fight to the death, I will blow the ship up now." His men now become more afraid of him than they are of 150 Royal Marine fighters that are tied alongside, and the fight breaks out. A big half-an-hour battle. At the end of the battle, well, before the end of the battle, the second in command, now you have to know, on a ship that's got 550 Royal Marine fighters on it, the 150 they sent over were pretty good, including the commanders. The number 1 in command has been killed. Second in command calls quarter. That's like calling uncle. When you call quarter, you do not take up arms again. He called quarter and he said, "We need to see your surgeon. Bring us up on deck." Ordno looks around. "I got 9 guys." He swings on his feet, quickly tells the second in command, "You can't come up on deck. Our surgeon was killed." Ordno said, "We're sending buckets down. Put all your weapons in the buckets. We'll send the buckets back down with food and water. You'll receive medical care and repatriation and pardon from the good people of Nantucket tomorrow, but you're going to stand down." Ordno has now got 9 guys that have survived out of the 36 that aren't wounded. 9 healthy guys. 105 British are dead. The Ordno allows the other men off the ship, and in the morning the Nantucketers come out and they cannot believe what they see. They see dead British on the beach. They see barges drifting away with dead men on them. So you have to know that this is significant in the fact that 36 merchant mariners have engaged the Royal Navy and have killed 105. England is suffering terribly because Lloyd's of London is insuring all the cargoes, and none of the cargoes are making it into America because the American privateers are so successful. So the money is not making it to the crown. They just killed 150 men, 105 men. The money's not coming in. They can no longer afford to be escorting these ships across the Atlantic. So eventually, England capitulates in the War of 1812. And the result of this is that people that will tell you that the War of 1812 was a lost war, that nobody won it. Never again did they impress American sailors into the Royal Navy. We got rid of dual taxation without representation, and we got free trade and sailors' rights. So after the war, these boats really turned into just revenue boats, the revenue service. They went so fast you couldn't regulate them. So they made it illegal to own these boats, and they turned it into the original Coast Guard Revenue Service. But we ushered in, because of free trade and sailors' rights, we ushered in the glory days of the big 300-foot schooners, the Great Republics, the Flying Clouds, the Red Jackets. Captain Donald Mackay, who designed the best clippers of the world, was right from here. He was from Hamilton and Newbury, and then built the Flying Cloud in East Boston. But that's what the War of 1812 ushered in. It was these boats that were responsible. It's these boats that the Star-Spangled Banner is written all about, because it was the British were at Fort McHenry after burning Washington down to burn down the shipyards in Baltimore that were building these boats. They wanted to take them out at the source. So as a result of the War of 1812, we finally got our independence. And that's what the story is. That's what Lynx is. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the rest of your sail.
Cool.
Away! Ho! Haul away, we'll haul away together. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away! Ho! Haul away, we'll haul for better weather. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Away! Ho! Haul away, we'll haul away together. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. All right.